Good morning and welcome everyone to High Five Live. Our guest today takes no introduction at all. However, while you're watching, if you tell us where you're watching from, and maybe you could tell us one of your favorite hymns or pieces of music that Janice Kapp has written, that'll fill up the whole little comment box. But
we are so grateful to have you with us, Janice. We really appreciate you making time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Of course. You've been on our list for a long time. And in fact, when we were praying about, and we've done this for weeks, who to have on our Friday broadcast right before Mother's Day. And in the middle of the wee hours of the morning, your name popped into my mind. And I'm like, yes.
Perfect.
It might be just in time because I just finished writing my funeral song. It's called One Last Song.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful. So we have so many people that once they found out that we were interviewing you today, said, please tell her how grateful we are. Please thank her for us. She has changed our lives. She has made a difference with us and our children. And so thank you from all of them. We do represent so many. And like Scott said, we would love to have people just put in the comments, what is one of their favorite songs that you have written? They only have a choice of 3,000, correct?
3001.
3001, that's right.
But they haven't heard the next one. So.
But we are just so impressed with the more we study your life, not only just the things that you have written and composed, but your life, how you've loved life and how you've just lived life. And author Joyce Saunders Lundberg, who is your cousin, right?
Right.
She said this, and we believe it. She said, Janice has been hailed as the most prolific composer in the history of the church.
Amen.
She is the musical
my cousin thinks so.
The musical phenomenon. I love that. And that is so true.
And the amazing thing about that is you didn't start your music career until partway through your life. I mean, what was the transition that led you into music? Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Well, I was always into music. Our home was full of it on our little farming home in Oregon. And my parents played in a dance band, played for every dance I ever attended at school or church.
And that was piano and drums, right?
Yes. Dad died quite early, and then I played with Mother on drums. I was a percussionist at BYU. So yeah, it was music. Dad would work on a farm, come in and sit down, ask Mom to play for him. It was sweet. Music was just there always.
Wow.
She taught us, and then she turned us on to someone better, she said. Another teacher.
Then you started to compose, but not till later, because your athletic career and many other things kind of came to a halt. What happened with that?
Yeah,
the lucky break.
My older brother, Jack, 4 years older, he was really into high school sports, needed a practice partner, and I was next in age. So he said he knew I wanted to be his partner. So he said, okay, but you can't cry, and you can't tell Mom if I throw too hard or anything. So I practiced with him always. He taught me how to pass pitch with a full windup, and that has served me through my whole life. Well, until 40. So I just played on school teams and city teams wherever we lived, because everyone needs a pitcher.
Yes.
So I wish I still could, but I've had a couple of strokes, and I can't do that anymore. They asked me to throw out the first pitch at BYU for softball, and I said, I don't think I can pitch that far anymore.
How fun is that? So then you started to compose. I think it's when you're about 40. Is that right?
Yeah, I was playing basketball with my nephew, and I broke my ankle.
Oh.
I did a jump shot and came down on his foot. And so while I had my foot in a cast, the bishop came to check on me, and he said, will you write original music for our road show? We'll get extra points, and we need to beat your brother's award. So I said, what makes
love
you think I can write music? And he said, just a feeling. So he said, you can't do anything else right now. So that's when, as soon as I sat down to write that, I thought, wow, why haven't I been doing this? This is what I really need to be doing, not playing
what you were
volleyball.
born to do, right?
Yeah, I did have that feeling like, boy, I might have 40 years left to do this. And Merrill Jensen was our roadshow stake director.
Oh my goodness.
And we won, and he heard the music and he said, you got to start writing for recording church music now. And he helped me figure out how to do that, how to afford it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he said it'll take about 10,000 for me to get started on it. And Randy Booth said he would furnish all the singers from Young Ambassadors. My kids were in Young Ambassadors then, so
That is amazing.
yeah. So
You
he
have
said,
amazing children.
just borrow $1,000 from 10 people and tell them that you'll pay it back with a little higher interest. That just killed me to do that, but I found 5 people, and my mother believed 5 times. So that's how we got started.
That's amazing.
That is a
What
beautiful
a story.
story. Oh my goodness. So when people found out on Facebook that we were going to interview you, they just started telling me their
Stories.
favorite songs and their stories. And you know, our kids were raised. We started our family about the time that you started writing, maybe a little before. And so our children, did you tell us already? Our children and their children and their children now have been raised and are being raised on your music. We couldn't thank you enough. Honestly, it's just it's made a difference in our whole lives and our children's lives.
And just
That's
a
so
word,
so
please.
sweet and meaningful to me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
A word about that. Music is the international language. And that's why you speak to people all over the world. Even though you've traveled all over the world and performed all over the world, this music drives home the message of the gospel into the heart and soul of a child more powerfully, and allows the Spirit to absolutely testify to them when they're young more powerfully than almost any other thing.
If it's such a music, it stays longer.
It sure does. So some of our friends, like the most common thing was, how do we choose just one of our songs? We can't do that. And so they just have been telling us some, like The Test, Jesus Was No Ordinary Man, A Child's Prayer, Will Bring the World His Truth, The Armies of Helaman, right? That one. I will say that one woman, she just said, Will Bring the World His Truth is pretty popular with my toddlers. I love that. She said they love that song. Many people said, I love to see the temple. I'm trying to be like Jesus. One friend said, when I looked at the list, the one that really stuck out for me was Walk Tall, You're a Daughter of God. And I know our children, our girls especially, were really, really impressed with that. And that's sticking in your mind.
I can't say I wrote that song. She
Yeah.
asked me to write a piano arrangement.
Yes, and
I can't think who wrote it.
It's beautiful. Yes, and all these years later, you know, because these songs have been around a while, but they stick with us, and they're beautiful. And 3,000 songs. I'm just in awe.
So, and of course, we have so much we could say about this. It's not just songs, cantatas and musical productions that have traveled to multiple countries all over the world. And your life has just been full and rich. And the honors you've received are innumerable. But one of those that was especially meaningful, it seems like to me, is when BYU chose to give you an honorary doctor's degree for the incredible influence you've had worldwide and the influence you've had over music. Now, when you were in that orchestra down there at BYU playing percussion, did you think someday I think they're going to give me a doctorate for my music?
No. I only had 2 years at BYU.
Oh.
Well, I had just had my second stroke right before that happened, and both of them affected me about the same, but no worse. You know, I have to walk with a cane, and I have to be careful not to fall, which I did
Mm.
2 weeks ago
Oh,
terribly.
no.
Oh,
I was all blue and purple. If you had called me then, I couldn't have. But it's faded.
Oh, I'm glad we
wow.
didn't call you then.
And luckily, it was COVID at the time, and you didn't have to walk at all. They just came and gave you your doctorate at your house. Right?
Yeah, when I came home from the hospital, Kevin Worthen lives right next door to me. He said, "Can we come over for a minute to see how you are?" And I thought he was just checking on me. And then before he left, he said, "We're really here because your son nominated you for an honorary doctorate degree from BYU for service in music." And I said, "What?" And I said, I only went 2 years. And he said, "Well, that's why it's honorary."
I love that. What an honor. Oh my goodness. And I know
Anyway,
in
yeah,
2000,
I just worried about it because I couldn't
yeah.
speak well, I couldn't walk well. And he said, "By then you'll be better. It's 2 months away." When COVID canceled it, I celebrated. I called his office and said, "So I don't have to speak, do I?" No, there's no one to speak to. So I avoided that. I wasn't ready to speech-wise or
Yeah,
balance-wise.
what a crazy experience, but what an honor. And I know in 2009, BYU TV produced a whole 60-minute documentary about you. How do you feel about that?
I think BYU's been very kind to me. That's how.
Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful portrayal of your amazing life. And then there was a poll published in LDS Living magazine, and it was entitled 100 Greatest LDS Songs of All Time. And so you were on there. Do you want to tell us what happened when you found out that you had songs that were in that list?
John came in from the mailbox. He said, "Mom, look at this survey under whatever you said, 100
100, yes. Greatest LDS songs of all time.
still living." No.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, they did 2 surveys.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about 2 different things, but yeah, a child's prayer. That's always been everybody's favorite. Everyone that tells me their favorite, that's it.
That's it. It is so famous and
It's
so
my favorite
beautiful.
too.
Yes. And so that was number one on the chart. And then you had 7 more songs, right, in that chart. That is incredible. And I know it was hard for you to believe, but you know what? People can recognize true talent, and they know what these songs do for all those who listen.
So, speaking of a child's prayer, Janice, you had the privilege of singing in the Tabernacle Choir back in the 1990s. And the Tabernacle Choir chose to sing that song, as well as many of your songs. And we hear them all the time now with the Tabernacle Choir. But what was it like when you were singing in the choir? And then didn't you write a special introduction to the song? And then it was sung?
Yeah, Craig
Tell us a little
just
about that.
asked me to write an introductory page, like a family getting ready for homecoming or something, and then go into that. Yeah, it was a nice idea he had. But
Yeah.
when they sang it, I had a hard time singing. I just couldn't believe that they were singing that little song, but they were.
You are so humble.
Yeah, it's
You
the message of the song is not little.
No, and we invite all of you as you look up that song, the Tabernacle Choir, A Child's Prayer. You can hear the rendition right on YouTube, and it is breathtaking. So, so, so beautiful.
That has meant a lot to some of our friends, especially one.
Yeah, our dear friends lost one of their children, and he passed away about a year ago. And your song, A Child's Prayer, is their comfort song. They have sung it in all sorts of arrangements. They love it. They play it all the time and sing it. And they especially wanted me to thank you personally from them for creating that song and comforting them in their time of need. So we appreciate that, and we pass that on.
That's so sweet to me to hear that. That's why we write.
That's right. And it is so beautiful. And that message. And they also, your song, A Child's Prayer, is just, it lends itself to so many other thoughts and feelings. And Michael Hicks actually took that one and wrote, God be with you till we meet again, as a double melody in honor of this child who passed away. Such a beautiful, beautiful experience for them.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's neat.
So the mother of this family and Michael worked together at EFY for a long time. And I was, of course, very involved in, especially for youth, for 44 years, all
He's
the
old.
time. Ancient. They call me the dinosaur at EFY. But anyway, I know you have, but I have hundreds of times stood watching 1,400, 1,600 youth, shoulder to shoulder, arm to arm, singing your two beautiful songs.
The EFY, now FSY
Singing
medley.
Sisters in Zion, and then
Armies of Helaman.
Helaman, and sing it together and uniting these youth and them feeling the Spirit so much. In fact, we have a missionary that's in our little area right now, and he walked in just a week ago. He's 1 week old on his mission. And he said, as soon as he saw me, I met you at EFY. I felt the Spirit so much there. And we sang those songs and felt those feelings. I decided to get a testimony, go on a mission, and here I am. That's an example of tens of thousands of youth, and now FSY worldwide. Everywhere in the world, they sing your songs, and the youth feel the compelling job they have to go be gatherers, to go gather Heavenly Father's children, to do exactly what President Nelson's asked them to do.
When Michael Hicks first asked me if he could write a medley of those two songs, I said, sure. I thought it was a piano solo.
Little did you know.
One time I was over at BYU and Brad Wilcock was doing especially for youth. And he said, Jan, you got to come in and hear this. And I said, hear what? And he said, Michael's arrangement for youth. I came in and he had 1,500 kids singing it for me. I was dumbfounded. I had no idea what he'd done with it.
How powerful that is.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. And it's been sung in many languages all over the world.
You know, it's interesting. I was in the young adult stake presidency, and as part of our stake conference, we had a member of the Quorum of the 12 coming to stake conference. And we said, let's have all the youth stand up just before the general authority speaks and sing that song, that combined song of Sister Perry's. And somebody said to me, do you think they know it? I said, watch. And all of a sudden we had 1,700 young adults stand up in this massive stake conference and gave the downbeat, and they just raised the roof with that song. And the general authority could not speak after. He got up and just was weeping and said, I have to take a minute to get my composure. In fact, I'm still struggling with it right now because of the many times I felt that powerful message. And it does help people know about the gathering on both sides of the veil, right?
Amen. And now this year, it is the 25th anniversary of him writing that song. Can you believe that?
25th?
Yeah. We actually interviewed Michael Hicks a while back, and he talked about that. And he has our interview on his site, michaelhicks.com, michaelhicksmusic.com. And so he tells the whole story of how he wrote it and what has happened. And it's beautiful. Beautiful. So you could look that up. EFY, FSY now, it just carries on. It's just
bless his heart for doing it. He made me famous.
Oh, you were way famous before
I think you made each other famous.
But you combine the gathering with, I love to see the temple and all of that. And you really have inspired people to gather on both sides of the veil and make this wonderful effort that President Nelson has said is the most important work we have to do, imbued in people's hearts, including our own and our children's. And I
think the Lord inspires people to do things ahead of when they're needed. Because when I started, when I knew I couldn't play ball anymore and I started writing, I just felt like nothing but children's songs. And when the new book came out, they used 10 of them in the primary book. I didn't know why I was writing them, just for my stake and ward, I thought. but he prepares things like that. Looking back, I just felt that's exactly what I needed to do, and then it turned out to be the right timing.
Yes,
Exactly.
it did.
I hope we have that good luck in the hymn book, but
Mm.
18,000 entries, almost no one's will be
And
in.
you submitted one, right?
Oh
Did you
yeah,
submit
I
them?
could submit 5. Everyone
Woo,
could.
yay!
Yay.
Everyone could.
That's
But
exciting. Wow.
I don't know that any will be in it. They
Well,
will just tell you that there certain ones are being considered, and a few of mine are being considered. That's all I know.
yeah,
So
it'll be
great.
so interesting, won't it? Oh my goodness.
We're going to
So
get our first 10 songs
yeah.
on the 30th.
That's right. Coming out.
Yeah, I can't wait. So let's see, you have a website, right? And John, your son, said that right now there is a big sale on CDs and music books and all that kind of thing. And it's JaniceKappPerry.com, right?
Yeah, we're trying to convert our website to digital downloads.
Mhm.
So we're selling off our songbook and CD inventory at huge discounts.
Oh, this
Huge.
is everybody's lucky day.
For example, right now, if you can get a box of 47 songbooks that match the albums for $47.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's the end of my life, really.
Oh my
It is.
goodness.
No one in my family has lived to 85, so
So,
Well, you're so spry. You
they
could go
just
for 100.
they just need to go to JaniceKappPerry.com.
Right.
You
JaniceKappPerry.com.
find the offer under the new releases.
Wonderful.
People are buying those up, the 47 books, and we're needing to clear our inventory out.
What
That's
a blessed day
fantastic.
for ward choirs and
Yes.
youth groups. Oh my goodness.
So it is Mother's Day weekend, and you wrote a beautiful song about the heart of a mother. Can you tell us a little about that?
A woman's heart.
Woman's
And
heart.
that's why we chose that for our broadcast today as a title, because of Mother's Day and because, Janice, you have exemplified every aspect of motherhood that I can think of right now. Motherhood and womanhood and sisterhood. And you wrote a beautiful song for your husband who passed away in 2018, right?
Yes.
And I just cry when I hear that. It's so beautiful. And all these aspects you relate to all of us as women. And as we approach Mother's Day and how we have this opportunity to honor all women, you are an example of every aspect in glory. I just don't know how to say this, but you're such an example, and you have lived a life of service, and all these awards are so well deserved. But what brought you to write that beautiful song, A Woman's Heart? How did that?
It's often how it happens. There was a stake. I don't know if it was about halfway across the United States. I can't remember. My memory's not the best. But a stake president, Relief Society president, said that was their theme for their women's conference. She said, if you could write us a special song, it would mean so much. I love that. I love to get that kind of assignment. It gives you direction.
Mhm.
And I just tried to include all of the aspects that I felt were important. I've never been willing to leave my home to work. From the beginning, I just wouldn't. In graduate school, I had 4 children of my own, and I took 4 more into 10, so I wouldn't have to go to work outside of my home. And none of my ancestors left, and I won't either. So I just think mother has to be home, period. So I just included everything that I felt strongly about woman in that song.
And so that is our gift. The three of us would love you to look up that song. It's sung beautifully by April Maservi, and you can just find that on YouTube. Just put in
the album is
oh, there we go.
That's the title of the album, A Woman's Heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
beautiful.
and so that specific song on that
people
album.
don't buy CDs anymore. So we're about out of business. They don't even have CD players.
Oh, goodness.
We
Well,
do.
You-
I do too. I have it right by my kitchen sink.
Well, you have made so many of your songs available for home, church, non-commercial use, and we thank you for that. We can print off your songs and teach them and use them, and that has been a very unselfish act. And so we're so grateful. The world is so grateful. We are all so blessed by your music.
Thank you so much. You know, my daughter Lynn Christopherson is next in line. She beat me out at the women's conference last week. We both entered a song. 3 years ago, I entered and won, and my song was performed in the opening session, and she could go with me. This year, she won.
That is so awesome.
I went with her.
Oh, congratulations to her. That's
Jesus.
wonderful.
We recorded her music, and she's the up and comer. She has a website.
Well, she's got it in her blood.
Yes,
that's
she
for
does.
sure.
She has a free download site for all of her music,
Mm.
and it's print music, and it's Lynn Christopherson Music .com.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Thank you for
with
sharing
2
that.
F's.
Okay. We
Like,
will
That's
put that
so
in
great.
the comments
like the
also.
apostle. Anyway, she's the one you'll hear up next. She's been a published author, and she writes for Meridian and wonderful music.
Perfect.
What a legacy you pass on.
Yes, you do.
And you have passed on. I guess today our big goal was to somehow say from all our friends all over the world how grateful we are. And I know they've just had a privilege of getting to meet you. Anything you'd like to share as we kind of close?
I haven't thought about that much, but I can testify to the power of music. If you set it to music, well, it has better staying power. And the kids, it comes back to them in the times of their life. That's happened all through the years. I was in a certain situation, and your song came to my mind and kept me from, or inspired me to. And so I just testify: keep good music in your heart and use it all the time, and it will be a guide to you in your life that will help keep you on the straight and narrow. It's always going. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Paul and I have enjoyed your interview.
Oh, we have enjoyed it so much. We could go on for hours. I love to look up your information online and read about you've done so many interviews, had articles, and your life has been fascinating, and your music is incredible, straight from God. And we appreciate so much you sharing what you did today with
My
all of us.
biography's been written, but not published yet. It's too long.
Let's get that done. We would love that.
It's too long, and we don't have income anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's written.
Oh, that's perfect. That's wonderful.
I might find a generous person to help me get it published.
Yes, we'll work on that.
I'm working on it too.
All right.
Thank you so much. And to everybody, please share this. It'll just be such an inspiration to everyone that has a chance to hear it. And please, we will make responses to your comments. But if you have any other comments you'd like to make, just put them in the comment section.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your kindness and for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice, so much.